Hey everybody, it's Peter. We're going to talk about some high seas updates, and there is a lot to go over, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk high seas. There's been, a lot of stuff going on online, what I'm seeing on social medias, and we're less than a month away from release, and people have questions. So this is like the third or fourth time I've attempted to produce this video. Some of them came off a little bit more angry than I wanted to. Some of them came off with less than perfect information. So we decided to let's wait. Let's get all the details. Let's compile all the information together before we make a video about this kind of stuff. So here we are today. So we're going to go through a lot about high seas, what to expect from an LGS standpoint, what we're seeing from distribution, and just kind of how we should all as players be entering the season and what to expect. So let's start off with min-max games and our pre-orders. So we started our high seas pre-orders about 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. We did a full box for the MSRP minus the percentage we're allowed to sell. I think it was about $100 a box. And then we offered a $20 store credit gift card with those purchases for full cases. So we initially had that running, and it was a massive success. We had a lot of people pre-ordering. And then we started to hear whispers of, hey, maybe the set wasn't printed as widely available. It won't be as widely available as we originally had hoped or intended. So we said, okay, let's be precautionary. Let's end our pre-orders for now. We can always put them back up. So those of you who've been watching and waiting, they have not gone back up, and unfortunately, they're not going to. So for those of you who did place those pre-orders, those are guaranteed. Min-max Games guarantees all of our pre-orders across all of our games. So if you ever pre-order a product from us, you are guaranteed to get that product at that price. Our pre-order guarantee also includes a price match. So if we start a product at, let's say, $100, and at release day or the day before release day, we've dropped that price down to like $80, we'll say. If you've pre-ordered at that $100 price, once that product ships to you, we will issue you a refund for the difference. So it guarantees you that when you pre-order your product, you'll always get the best price available at that time. So mostly what happens is that as time goes on, that pre-order price increases. So you're locked in at the price that you pay. So that means that day one, you should have the absolute cheapest price. And then as it goes on, it should be more and more and more expensive. But that means that at any point in time, you've still locked in the best price at that date going forward. So if you pre-ordered boxes, congratulations, you're actually going to get them. If you did not, if you decided to wait and kind of test the waters, no pun intended, unfortunately, we're done. We don't have any more boxes to offer. So what does that mean? It means that our allocations were cut. It means that we got a fraction of what we asked for, a fraction of what we expected to get. And from talking to other store owners and other people in the community, it sounds like we are not the only ones. It seems like every store, every organization, every group has also received pretty substantial cuts. A few of the bigger online stores that we talked to on Blue Sky recently reached out and said a third of their inventory of what they expected is what they're receiving. Some said half. It's difficult to give exact numbers because you can ask for anything. I put in for almost $1 million worth of Final Fantasy collector boxes. There's no way I was going to get $1 million worth. I was prepared to take them. It would have been wonderful. But so you can ask for anything. But realistically, I think these stores truthfully got about a third of what they reasonably would have ordered, which is unfortunate. But let's go back to min-max games. What does that mean? It means that pre-orders for boxes are done. We will have singles. We talked about it internally. We decided that with the remaining boxes that we have, we are just going to crack them all. We're going to offer singles for two reasons. One, because we think it's a very important thing to provide that service to the community. I do believe that we could potentially make more money selling sealed boxes just at inflated prices. But it's important to us that the community is thriving and growing. That's part of the reason why this video was kind of difficult for me to produce and why I was a little angry at some points, because I personally put a lot of time and energy into this game. It's a lot of weekends. It's a lot of time away from my family. It's a lot of time away from our team. Our team spends, hundreds of days on the road a year at these events, and so when you build up what you think is going to happen, and then unfortunately it doesn't happen, it can be difficult, right? I wanted thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of boxes because I knew I could sell them. I knew we could open them. I knew we could create an ecosystem for this set. I think it's going to be extremely well received. That just didn't happen. And we'll go into the reasons that didn't happen in a little bit. But for us, single sales will happen. We will offer pre-orders for Nats coming up. We will be vending at Nats. Maybe we'll have a few boxes at Nats. There's always a situation where after release, our distros come back to us and they're like, hey, this company decided not to take their allocation or they couldn't pay for it. Do you want to buy it? So we've already made notice that any product that becomes available, we will just 100% take. They don't even have to ask. So we'll just get it shipped to us. So hopefully that means we'll have some boxes available to crack, to maybe practice some sealed, which is going to be difficult in our store. But so those pre-orders will go up probably a couple weeks before Nats. At least we'll have that option. As soon as we can start listing cards, we will. So yeah, allocations were cut. That's the answer. It wasn't because somebody at LSS doesn't like min-max games. It wasn't because there's a greedy investor that is getting pallets and pallets and pallets of product. It's that, and I think based on my understanding of information is that I was correct and that print runs were not in a position to be adjusted when the set was released. So before making a video like this, where I more or less have to, come up with conjecture and kind of formulate ideas and concepts, I try to get information, right? I try to reach out to different distributors, I reach out to other stores, and I reach out to LSS. So I said, hey, I want to do this video. Do you guys have any information? Anything I can share? Is there any rhyme or reason to what's going on? And so they did respond. They gave me an answer. And it was pretty much what I said. So LSS more or less said, the demand for this set is unprecedented. And we saw that with Hunted. And the reason why places got cut is because there's not enough product. There are logistical issues, right? There are lines for printing. There is distance and time. This is stuff that it's not like you go home to your home printer and you press a button and cards come out. That's not how this works. There's so much more time and energy invested into it. So LSS did say that they are aware of this situation. They're doing everything in their power to fix it, which includes expediting shipments. So they are paying additional fees to get product to us sooner. They said that there are restocks in the pipeline, that they are moving from warehouses to locations to distributors to stores. Obviously, they didn't give me quantity, right? They're not going to tell me how many boxes are going where or how that's going to function. But they did say there are restocks in the works on their way. So that is great. That is wonderful. That means that LSS understands what's going on and that they are attempting to fix the problem. So that's where we're at. So if you are a local to min-max games and you haven't purchased your boxes, we'll probably have some boxes available in store at release. If you are not local to min-max games, I highly recommend you reach out to your LGS and you ask what their pre-order policy is. You reach out and you say, hey, I want boxes. What is my cost? What happens if you don't get them? But the goal should always be to buy local. We do a lot of volume online, but really the first place that you should go is local. You should go to your LGS, the place that hosts your armories, the place that you see your local meta change every single week. You need to buy from those places first because that is what's going to make this game grow. I would love the sales. I'd love for you to buy from us too, and maybe you supplement your purchase with a box or two when we have a gift card sale, or you want to buy singles with it, or whatever that looks like. But truthfully, it is the LGS, the local store, that makes this game function. So please reach out to your locals. Please reach out to your stores and buy it all up. Get the product, push them to make restock orders. That's how we make this game grow. So please do those things. So let's kind of convert and let's talk a little bit about TCGs in general, because those are all very specific to High Seas and this specific set, and I guess Hunted too. It looks like Hunted 2.0, but I think singles might be a little bit more expensive, just because the demand is so insane. And don't even let's not even talk about the treasure packs. Like that's going to be crazy. I have no idea what that's going to look like or how that's going to function, but it's awesome. It's going to be a real treasure hunt. Okay, so that's high seas. That's flesh and blood. Let's talk about TCGs as a whole, because what I want to share with you is that what high seas and flesh and blood is going through is not unique. That this is not an LSS issue. This is a game industry issue. So what we are seeing across the board is that every single TCG is up. Everything is great. Like Flesh and Blood is great. Pokemon is doing extremely well. Magic with Final Fantasy coming around the corner is crazy. Lorcana is kind of in a weird place. I don't really know where Lorcana sits, but pre-orders are happening. People are still purchasing the cards. Yu-Gi-Oh is not even a real game, so I'm not going to talk about that. Later on, we'll talk about vibes. That's something cool that's coming up for us. But yeah, across the board, like things are good. We're getting almost like pandemic vibes of like insanity for purchases. So that leads me to my second point, that LSS obviously has an issue with providing inventory, but so does every other game right now. So I took a look, and for Lorcana, there is one booster box type that I can purchase from all the distributors that distribute it. For Magic the Gathering, there's like 5 or 6 booster box products that I can purchase from random sets throughout time. And that's not like the entire set. So it's not like for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, I can't pick up bundles and collectors and play boosters and pre-release kits. It's like you can buy play boosters and then there's like a couple bundles left. Or for what was the recent Tarkir, the new Dragonstorm set. Like you can't buy any of that product at all. It just doesn't exist. So we're seeing that inventory across the board is drying up. Like you can't buy Pokemon. Pokemon's not if you like go to the Pokemon tab in any distros, it's just empty. There's zero. Maybe there's like the starter set from 2 years ago that you can buy, but like that's it. So we're entering a phase where inventory across the board just doesn't exist. And we are about to enter what I believe is going to be what I'm going to call the black hole of inventory. So I talked about the tariffs and the issues with bringing product in a month or two ago, because we bring in containers for other companies. So we are forecasting July to be that month of the void. It's going to be the month, or within a month or two, depending on what the country of origin is and where it's going to. Within a month of July, we're going to see, I believe, a large just vacuum of product, because any company that has a forecasting method, any company that understands how the world works, saw all this uncertainty happen, and then they stopped. They waited. We looked around, both sides of the street. Is it safe to cross? And that took a few weeks before we decided, yeah, it's time to start crossing the road. So there's going to be a natural period, I think around July, where distros and warehouses are just not going to have shipments. There's going to be a period of time where we all stopped. The world just stopped moving, and then it started again. And so the fact that there's no inventory in warehouses today, the fact that we're probably going to enter this void, this black hole situation, means that this summer could be a very, very expensive summer for TCGs. It's going to mean that anything that is available is going to start creeping up in price because there's no ability to purchase new things. Weird things that maybe you didn't buy before are going to look like maybe a little bit more, attractive. It's the refrigerator model, right? So you go to open up your fridge and you look at the food and you're like, no, I don't want it. So you close it, and then you come back like 2 minutes later, you open it up and you're like, well, those pickles kind of look really good now, and you close it, and then eventually you settle on like just eating cheese because it's what's there. So we're going to get to a similar situation, I think, in the TCG world very soon. So if you want a really good deal on Monarch and Tails, that's product that I can probably still get a decent amount of, including first edition. So if you want me to run a sale or do something on that, let me know in the chat. But yeah, so what does this mean? It means that our industry as a whole is going through a growth period again, that we're seeing massive growth in purchases across the board in all different versions of all different games. So that's great for the TCG world. It means that people haven't forgotten about paper cards. It means that people haven't forgotten about what it means to sit across the table with friends and jam games. But what that does mean is that our hobby is about to get much more expensive. So some tips and tricks. If you want to play any of the high seas heroes, you're going to pay a tax. It's going to cost a little bit more than other places, other time frames. So I would highly recommend picking up your cards as soon as possible, because you're just going to come into an availability issue. Things are going to spike. They're going to go down left and right. So buy non-foils, buy foils. Don't buy the cold foils. Don't buy the extended arts, the crazy treatments. If you just want to play the game. If you want to pretend that this is a market and that you want to get rich off of cards, this is going to be a very interesting set for you to spec on all the fancy treatments, because I have no idea how much is actually going to get opened. I don't know how much product is actually going to get pumped back into the market. So it's going to be a wild ride, but it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. We'll get through it. We'll get to the next set. I truthfully believe this next set is the one that will be fixed. I believe that my assumptions were correct, that Hunted and High Seas were printed very close to each other, that there was no time to make adjustments, that LSS clearly understands the situation they're in now, and this next set will be appropriately printed. I'm going to trust in LSS that they do not overprint this next set, but that it will be printed in a way that it is readily available today, tomorrow, and the next week, that people can draft it, that people can enjoy it, and that we don't have these issues. All right, so if you have any questions, comments, put them down below. There's going to be a couple other videos coming out very soon that I think you're going to love, so keep an eye on it. Be nice to people. Okay, this is a game. Your LGS may charge you closer to actual map. That's not a bad thing. It means they're going to make $1 on this set. It means that you're still going to be able to buy product. What I do want to warn you against is purchasing from non-gem stores. All right, focus your purchases on the places you play, not the backpack sellers, not the random people on the Discord that randomly found 50 boxes in their trunk or whatever. Don't reward that behavior. Reward the companies and the organizations that are going to be there next week and the week after. The people that when you have an issue, you can call to them and they'll give you a solution. The companies that support the LSS model, which is playing this game in person in a store. All right, so we'll see you at Nats. Good luck with your High Seas, and hopefully you'll see some awesome spoils soon. All right, take care.